Good morning, everyone. Today we will be discussing how we can work together to combat deforestation, a serious environmental issue with far-reaching consequences. As we explore the causes and effects of deforestation, we will be looking at solutions to help us create a sustainable future where we live in harmony with nature. Let's get started. Deforestation is a critical global issue with detrimental effects. It involves the clearing of forests to accommodate human activities like agriculture, logging, mining and urbanization, which may be essential for economic growth, but comes with significant consequences. These include the loss of biodiversity, the release of greenhouse gases, and the displacement of indigenous people who rely on the forests for their sustenance. This presentation will explore the causes of deforestation, its effects, and possible solutions to fight this pressing problem. Deforestation refers to the clearing of trees from a forested area, usually for the purpose of agriculture, logging, or urbanization. This process can have considerable detrimental effects on the environment, biodiversity, and climate. It is distinct from forest degradation, which is a decrease in the quality of a forest due to natural or human causes, but does not involve the full removal of trees. The repercussions of deforestation are widespread, and thus it is essential we consider the implications and come together to solve the problem. Deforestation is commonly associated with activities necessary for human development, such as agriculture, logging, mining, and urbanization. Commercial farming operations, timber companies, and mining companies are largely responsible for clearing large areas of forests for crops, lumber, and mineral deposits. Urbanization and infrastructure development can also cause the destruction of forested land for roads, buildings, and other structures, although this may be essential to economic and societal development. It is essential to be conscious of the implications of these activities in order to avoid further deforestation and encourage sustainable environmental practices. Deforestation is a major problem with drastic consequences. It affects not only the environment in the vicinity of where it takes place, but also has far-reaching impacts on biodiversity, climate, and global balance. Despite its seemingly unstoppable momentum, deforestation can be tackled and reversed if we understand the importance of forests and take action to safeguard them, thus sustaining the health and equilibrium of our planet for future generations. Deforestation is one of the major contributors to climate change, accounting for around 10% of global carbon emissions. By removing trees from the environment, the stored carbon in their biomass is released back into the atmosphere, leading to an increase in greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide. Furthermore, deforestation affects the water cycle, disrupting the natural sponge-like ability of trees to absorb and release water through transpiration, resulting in changes in precipitation patterns and a heightened risk of floods and droughts. Deforestation disrupts the bond between indigenous peoples and forests, that for centuries has sustained them. The devastating consequences of this disconnection are numerous. Indigenous peoples are forced to relocate and the lives they've known for ages are ripped away from them. This separation has caused displacement, violence, and discrimination, in addition to the loss of traditional knowledge and cultural heritage. It is therefore essential to recognize the rights and needs of indigenous peoples when dealing with deforestation and to strive for solutions that respect their sovereignty and autonomy. The economic impacts of deforestation are vast, and must be taken into consideration. The cost of losses in services like carbon storage, water regulation, and soil fertility can lead to lower agricultural productivity and higher costs for businesses. Furthermore, long-term environmental damage can translate to higher healthcare costs, decreased tourism revenues, and destruction of infrastructure. It is vital to understand that conservation efforts are not only a moral obligation, but a financial one as well. Deforestation is a global crisis that has been happening for decades and is threatening the planet. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, around 10 million hectares of forest are lost each year, equivalent to the size of Iceland or Costa Rica. Tropical regions such as Amazonia, Southeast Asia, and Central Africa are particularly affected. Agriculture, logging, mining, and urbanization are the primary drivers of deforestation. Livestock, crops, timber, and minerals are the main motivations behind its destruction. Unfortunately, urbanization also plays a part, with cities growing ever larger while infrastructure projects chip away at surrounding forests. The impact of deforestation on biodiversity and climate change is significant and should not be overlooked. We must act now to protect our forests and our future. Deforestation is a major global problem with devastating impacts that have been felt for decades. To address this issue, governments, conservation organizations, and businesses have taken various steps to reduce deforestation. Protected areas, such as national parks and reserves, provide vital habitats for endangered species and can help prevent further deforestation. Costa Rica, for instance, has seen a large increase in forest cover largely due to its protected lands. Additionally, sustainable forestry practices, including selective logging and the use of certified wood, enable forests to be used responsibly. International organizations, such as the UN and the World Bank, have also invested in programs to reduce deforestation and further sustainable forestry. To protect our forests, concerted action must be taken. International efforts to fight deforestation must be maintained and adapted to meet the ever-evolving needs of our planet. Conservation efforts face numerous challenges, some of which are social and political in nature. Corruption can obstruct conservation policies from being carried out and enforced properly. Funding is limited, and conservation initiatives usually have to compete with other pressing needs in order to receive resources. Political instability in some areas can make it impossible to enforce conservation measures and adhere to agreed commitments. Despite these issues, it is essential to understand the significance of conservation and its positive effects on our planet and our society. If we come together, we can find solutions to these challenges and ensure the planet is safeguarded for future generations. Deforestation poses an immense risk to the environment, biodiversity, and climate. Counteracting it with reforestation, sustainable agriculture, and conservation are key methods. Each of us has the power to minimize our own negative environmental impact. If we come together and back initiatives to protect forests and wildlife, then we may be able to create a healthier planet for future generations. It is up to us to act now and rescue our planet. Deforestation is an urgent issue that affects us all. Every individual has the power to make a difference in combating it. Small lifestyle changes, such as reducing paper consumption and supporting sustainably sourced products, can help to decrease demand for products that contribute to deforestation. Additionally, by joining forces with conservation organizations, individuals can help protect forests and biodiversity. Every person can have a tangible effect on this important environmental issue. Governments must take action to address deforestation. This can include increasing protected areas, promoting sustainable land use, investing in reforestation programs, and enforcing regulations that guarantee companies are complying with laws and regulations, and not engaging in illegal logging or other damaging activities. It is essential to take action in order to protect our forests and fight this pressing issue. Corporations can contribute to reducing deforestation and protecting the environment in multiple ways. These include sourcing only sustainably harvested timber and adopting zero deforestation policies, as well as investing in reforestation projects and supporting conservation organizations. Deforestation in Brazil has been a prominent issue for decades, primarily caused by activities such as logging, mining, and agriculture, alongside the government's drive to increase economic growth. The effects of deforestation have been irreparably devastating, leading to biodiversity loss, soil erosion, and climate change. The native population, that relies heavily on the Amazon for their existence, has also been adversely impacted. Fortunately, sustainable farming tactics as well as conservation efforts are creating new opportunities to preserve and restore the Amazon, providing Brazil with a greener future. Deforestation in Indonesia has become a serious threat to the environment and biodiversity. Since the 1990s, large areas of rainforest, home to endangered species such as orangutans and tigers, have been destroyed. In addition to the environmental impact, the local communities that depend on the forests for their livelihoods have been negatively affected. The destruction of forests for the expansion of agriculture, logging, and mining has released a huge amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, resulting in an increase in global warming. It has also caused soil erosion and water pollution, as well as posed a danger to biodiversity. Although the Indonesian government has implemented various policies to protect its forests and promote sustainable land use, implementation of these regulations has proved difficult. It is essential to take action to ensure deforestation in Indonesia is stopped and reversed, in order to safeguard both the environment, biodiversity, and the lives of people who are dependent on the forests.